Some of the richest people in the world are still worthless, even with all their money. It doesn't matter how many dollar bills that they may have. If they are an atheist, they will not enter my gates because they have failed to store up treasures in heaven. This book is also authoritative and therefore proves that God has not made the Bible the only source of where doctrines, traditions, and sacraments may come from. You are possessed by a demon if you hate the Catholic Church. Believing that demons can be cast out sometimes requires more than just believing it can be done. Sometimes it requires believing I'm Jesus before it can be done. For example, those that hate the Catholic Church are really demon-possessed. However, most of them will have a hard time changing their minds, even if they believe in casting out demons, until they have come to believe that I really am who I say I am. And then they'll love the church, simply because I asked them to, which of course means the demon has left them. Jesus can cast out demons with his finger means that as God, all he has to do is point out where a person is wrong and the demon will flee from them so that they can be with those in the kingdom. Faith and deeds are equally necessary for there to be salvation. However, faith comes before deeds. Faith is the most important deed. You are saved by your deeds, providing you have the deed of faith also. To the loudmouth at Cornerstone, I once stated that apparently I liked you more than you liked me because of something I previously heard you say. I have now come to the conclusion that I really don't like you at all because of your anti-Catholic bigotry. You need to shut your frigging, overbearing, loudmouth pie hole for a change. I'm tired of hearing it. You're nothing but a mouthpiece for Satan because I hear his voice every time you open your mouth and say such stupid and hateful things about the Catholic Church. When are you going to learn that it's all about the love, which is something you don't seem to have most of the time? The vile and putrid things you continuously spew on people about the one true church shows how evil you really are. It's more than just the fact that you're a frigging ignoramus also. Therefore, I have prepared a special place in hell for people like you in order to put a stop to your victory over the laity. I hope you and others like you heed this warning, because I'm not going to tolerate your bullshit any longer. God made woman from the side of man, meaning that she should walk beside him, not in front nor behind, for she is his equal. If Muhammad had not been unable to read, he would have read the Bible himself and realized that the people teaching him were teaching him heretical ideas that were not backed up by sound Bible doctrine. If a person were to ask a Jehovah's Witness about Jesus, he would get a different answer than if he asked a Catholic, even though they are both Christian. Muhammad apparently talked to the wrong group when he learned about Christ. Muhammad was a Christian before they turned his understanding of the truth into a different religion. Why did it take 20 to 30 years after Muhammad, one of the most famous persons to have ever lived, had died, to release the Qur'an? One of the most famous books to have ever been written. Perhaps because those who were actually responsible for writing and polishing most of it were not done with it yet when Muhammad died. It sure took a long time to compile a book that was supposedly put together from the recollected memories and writings of those who had supposedly memorized word for word what Muhammad had previously said. Taking 20 to 30 years leads me to believe that we have not been informed of the real truth on how the Quran came into being, since it should have been done while he was still alive, or at least within a year or two of his death at most. How can you claim Scripture only when you don't even have the whole Bible because you protest part of it? It would make much more sense if you said only some of the Scripture. Free will should not be thought of as a gift. It makes more sense to think of it as an enemy to the good news of God, because it has caused far too many to spiritually die. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil has routinely been pictured as an apple tree, when in fact an olive tree would have made much more sense. The elements which make up the foundations of the earth, which are governments, economies, and religions, will experience a global meltdown. What is the knowledge of good and evil? Belief and unbelief.